The roll call. Trustee Ron Wilson.
Here.
Trustee Walt Lashevsky.
Here.
Trustee Neil Gaynor.
Here.
Trustee Brad Hauk.
Here.
Trustee Kent Maggart.
Here.
Trustee Keith Lincoln.
Here.
Trustee David Smith.
Here.
Trustee Hugh Connett.
Here.
Trustee Bob Lux is here. Trustee Paul Martin.
Here.
Very good. We have a quorum. We will go from the roll call to the invocation and the pledges of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come to you as an assembled body. We humbly request that you bless our meeting, our community, and our nation. Help us to work diligently, always for the common good and in the best interest of those we have been elected to represent. Guide us to be insightful and prudent in our intentions, visions, plans, deliberations, decisions, and their fulfillment. Work through us to provide a spirit of welcome to all in attendance, to engage in respectful and thoughtful dialogue and discussion with understanding, wisdom, and humility. Amen.
Amen.
If you wish, prior to reciting the pledges of allegiance, take an additional moment of silent prayer or reflection in the manner of your preference. Thank you. Pledge of allegiance to the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Shelley, do we have any comments from the public this evening? Okay. That brings us to agenda item number 4, receive a Region H update. Arthur Bradehawk. Good evening, Arthur.
Good evening, Mr. President, trustees, senior staff of Woodlands Water, our senior staff of SJRA, and our attorney. It's good to be here. This is our first report of the 7th cycle for Region H planning, which covers the plan for 2031. Development since our last briefing was in October of 25. Texas Water Development Board has approved all 16 regional plans that were submitted on time. They approved it at their January 2026 board meeting. Those 16 plans will be uploaded into the state of Texas water plan for 2027. And the Texas Water Development Board uses a lot of these projections that are in the plans as people apply for, say, SWIFT funds. So there's a lot that these plans depend upon for all our local communities around the state. Region H, a good part of the meeting was administrative. So you have to kind of set the tone for the 7th cycle. So we approved the Mark Evans is our chair for another year. Arthur Bradehawk has been reappointed to the executive committee for 2026. And then we also took action to approve SGRA undertaking a number of administrative items. Like one, prepare the application down to the Texas Water Development Board for the grant money for the funds to fund the plan over the next 5 years. We've also asked SGRA to start preparing the public meetings that will take place prior to the development of the plan. And we'll come back, we'll probably have in our May meeting a schedule on the public meetings that will take place in 26 to gather input from the public before we start a really intensive planning cycle for the 2031 plan. We also asked SGRA to put out a qualification statement to seek a consultant that will help Region H prepare the actual plan. We have to do this every 5 years. These are all the administrative stuff you have to do when you start a new cycle. Probably the most interesting and important item that we talked about, and it'll be a lot more topics in various regions around the state, is about the water consumption on these data centers. And Texas Water Development Board made a presentation. It's extremely difficult to try to develop data from the private business of how much water they're going to use, or if they're established today, how much water they're actually using. So there's a lot to come on this particular topic. I think it'll be in a lot of the plans for 2031. It was very interesting to know that there's at least 100 active data centers today in the state of Texas, and at least 100 to 150 that are on the drawing boards in various communities to be reviewed and approved. So there's a lot more to come on this topic, and we'll keep you advised. There's a number of documents, about 2 or 3 documents that our consultant provided. All of that will be on the Region H website on the Google Drive. Also, we'll put the full packet from our meeting. So our next meeting is scheduled for May 6th, and we'll be back. If any developments take place between now and May 6th, we'll come back to the trustee board and keep you guys updated. But it's an honor to represent Woodlands Water on the 7th cycle for the Region H plan. Yes, sir.
You said that there was a number of projects that need to be planned out by the SGA. Could you kind of briefly?
Well, they're administrative things they need to do. Like they need to plan out and report back on the public meetings. They also need to put out a statement of qualifications for a consultant that Region H will hire to support the planning cycle. Also, we have to have them build the application, send down to the Texas Water Development Board so we can get the grant money that's at the Texas Water Development Board for all the regions that do planning. And then we'll get that in, we'll approve the budgets. So there's a few more administrative steps that will take place probably in our May meeting. And SGRA is our host. And Ed Shackelford reminded me that SGRA has been hosting this since '96. So they host the meeting, they provide staff to support the Region H Executive Committee and the members. And they do a great job, very efficient, very qualified. It's a great meeting place. Some of you have been up to the dam on other meetings, and that's where we hold the quarterly meetings.
And then
Yes, sir.
back to the AI in your discussions. Is there any discussion between closed and open cycle cooling systems that are being used?
No, cooling systems came up about usage, but in a very preliminary way. We're just starting this discussion, and I think there'll be a lot more data that we can share back to this group here. But I think what I walked away with, consumption of water is going to be large, and maybe some of the negotiations from the various towns or townships have to be, so what are you doing as a business to bring water? What's your plans? We also found out that the larger data centers are building their own electric grids to support the data center. More to come. It's a business that's going to impact water in a large way.
Yeah, no, I guess the last session, the PUC approved 765 kilovolt lines from Lubbock all the way down to the Rio Grande Valley to San Antonio. I guess that was $9 billion. It's big money for that first segment.
Yeah. And a lot of these companies, the bigger companies that are coming in, according to what's been communicated with us, they've got the capital to do this, but they also need to take a look at what capital you can bring in to help develop water. Because you can't run a center without both. And I don't think you can come in and say, okay, well, we'll let Woodlands Water provide the water first. You got to contribute, you got to bring your investment in. But that's opinion at this point. I'll keep you advised of what we get, we'll share with the group here. It'll be on the G Drive.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your efforts and time. Okay, that brings us to agenda item 5, Receive the update on Region 6 San Jacinto Regional Flood Planning Group. I've been advised that Ms. Diaz is not here this evening, but we have a capable replacement and Trustee Gaynor.
Okay, the meeting was canceled last month. It will be held tomorrow down at Harris Galveston Subsidence District offices in Friendswood at 10 o'clock. In regards to flood planning, I refer you to page 45, the insert. There's a meeting on February 19th of the CK Ray Recreation Center, and the public is invited to that meeting. And the time is 5 to 7 p.m. Sorry, what?
What are they gonna discuss at that meeting?
Okay, they've got some preliminary flood maps.
They're talking about, they just did the new FEMA maps.
Oh, no. This
That-
is a flood planning group doing
okay.
their maps. What they're seeking is input from residents and others, elected officials, whoever, on is that map representative of flooding in your local area, or does it need to be extended or modified in some way? So, it's all on
Are they gonna
the
present you pointed out and gave us access to the subsidence study for the Spring Creek watershed.
Yeah.
Are they gonna present that again up there?
I don't believe so. I think this is strictly related to the maps, the first set of maps they produced. I'm glad that we have, the upper watershed has representation. Otherwise,
Where's this meeting?
it's
on page.
45.
45.
This, Candy Cane, the CK Ray Recreation Center, the 19th. Okay, that's all I got.
I gotta, now that, since you put that onus on us, I actually went through, I didn't go through the whole 130 or 70 pages, but the executive summary. What's your opinion of that study?
Okay, that study is dependent on the accuracy of the underlying Gulf 2023 subsidence determination, given the forecasting of groundwater demand throughout the region. You remember the Gulf 2023, it covers most of the coastal area, southeast Texas. As far as I see, the forecast would be consistent with what we've already seen in terms of subsidence measurements. Say, for example, at the P13 unit that's right next to wastewater treatment facility number 2. So you're forecasting out to 2070.
20, 50 years.
Well, 45 years, 44 years now.
Well, they started from 20.
Yeah.
The study's starting at 20.
So yeah, I think there's actually a question that I'll be posing to Mike Turco and what's her name? The director of research. Can't remember her first name, Greuter. After the Lone Star meeting, it's going to be on the 18th, something like that, or GMA 14 meeting. So I'll be following up. I have had some questions regarding that, regarding our study that I provided to them. So
Just as I've had this discussion before, but my opinion is that as long as subsidence is uniform, that everything sinks at the same rate, it's not a problem. And so anyway, it's kind of interesting. They have a topo map of the future subsidence prediction for 50 years. And it's kind of interesting as they're predicting that 2.5 feet of subsidence will happen in the next 50 years, but that line follows Spring Creek. And I think Neil and I may not agree on this, but essentially Spring Creek also sunk 2.5 feet. In other words, the creek's right on top of the ground. So people end up and forget that when they're worrying about subsidence. And it's an interesting presentation because in the executive summary, they have this topo map color coded all up and down Spring Creek, and it's 2.5 feet until it gets halfway to Magnolia. But what's interesting is they took this map and it goes to 3.5 feet just about up along 242. That's about the end of our Spring Creek watershed. Your area goes to the other direction. In Harper's Landing, it doesn't go to Spring Creek, it goes to the Simpson River. But anyway, it's interesting when they made this presentation that they took this color code and it's nice and green, and all of a sudden it goes to dark red up along 242 when they color coded from the topo map from lines to color codes, and all of a sudden it's bright red. And of course, those of us who made presentations, if you're trying to sell an idea versus not sell an idea, you accentuate in this case, the negative, which the net differential subsidence in this study is 1 foot from Spring Creek up to 242, 1 foot. That's 6 inches right here. So, and that's 2 to 3 miles up there. So, long time ago, I read this guy. He was an angel investor. He wanted to know what the success, how you become a successful angel investor. And he says, well, if somebody comes in and there's 4 words that you have to be careful. He says, as soon as you hear experts say, studies show, he says, if the person hasn't done their own analysis, then he says, my ears perk up, because you can always find an expert, quote, whatever that definition is, or you can find a study to justify your position. And I essentially took the data and went through there, and there's a lot of esoteric stuff there.
Can I wrap this, please?
But anyway, the point is I've been an advocate long before this became a big issue, became a small issue, and I've always maintained as long as the subsidence is uniform. Our topography up here in Montgomery County goes to about 70 or 80 feet down to Kingwood, up to 400 feet up north of Conroe. Our topography is completely different than Harris County. Everybody wants to refer to Harris County. And what really bothers me is Harris County is going to want to come in here and say, oh, we'll create another subsidence district for Montgomery County and create another bureaucracy. But anyway, I looked at it. Thanks for pointing it out, because I actually spent some time looking at it because it was very interesting.
Thank you,
That they
Trustee
actually
Maggart.
took out just the Spring Creek watershed, which is us.
Thank you. Good comments, sir. That brings us to the consent agenda, items 6, 7, and 8. Regarding that, agenda item 8 is deferred until proper information is provided by the Department of Labor. So we're just talking about pages 1 through 14.
Move to accept as presented.
We have a motion to accept. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, but
It's a photo finish.
yeah, it was a photo finish, Brad, Trustee Houck. So we have a motion and a second. Do we need further discussion on this matter? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion passes. Thank you. Brings us to, we have a treat this evening. You won't have to you don't have to receive the report from Chris Meeks. We have Malia Good. Miss Good, Malia Good is here to give the report for the Woodlands Division of the SJRA. Good evening, Malia.
Evening, trustees. It is my privilege to give the monthly operating report for January for our Woodlands Division. We are pleased to report there were no violations or any issues for the month. Winter Storm Fern, we had round the clock on-site monitoring of our critical facilities and equipment. And during that time, there were no issues. It's great news. Our water production for January was the highest recorded over the past 10 years of water production. So I thought that was something to highlight. A lot of water for January.
Boy.
People didn't have their sprinklers turned off, apparently.
Had to put water in our pool.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to tout, if you give me the indulgence, our fantastic operations and maintenance staff. On your last page of your operating report, we had some staff go down to the H-Town Showdown to participate in that event. Shows off their skills of our operation and maintenance guys, and it's just our precursor to get ready for Texas water. In the upcoming months, you'll see SJR is preparing to present the 10-year project plan in May and the Woodlands Division budget proposed in June. You also have a updated memo in front of you that we handed out this evening for the excess funds discussion. You will see that the excess funds for the Woodlands Division is approximately $6,058,000. We met with WWA and the audit committee, and we have those recommendations. If it was a pro rata share, given back to all the MUDs in that memo. I know you have an agenda item there to discuss it, but we'd be happy to entertain any questions on the monthly operating report or the memo.
Just a point of note, to clarify, there's a typo there. It should be FY 25 is what we're talking about. And
Which page is it?
It's the.
Well, I had a question
Oh,
on
oh,
the,
right, yeah.
could you speak to the water loss for, I know, I think it's December's water loss for reporting here. It's at 8.3 or
Up a little bit.
any clues to what's going on there?
that's the one from last year.
This is
a new
January now,
We're at 8% loss for December.
December, sorry.
I believe Woodlands Water is still doing some investigation in their system. SJRA has verified the production numbers and what we're delivering, so we're
You're
still.
good on your
exploring
end. You
it.
feel like you're good on
We do
SJRA,
really
yeah.
are good on our end.
Yeah, we requested some additional reports from our billing software company.
Mhm.
So we can see the months before, during and after the excursions to see what anomalies we would find.
Okay, all right.
Does that include the 461 or 51,000?
So that will be January's usage. So we show you what
Okay.
happened in January, but the water loss is always 1 month behind because of the way the mud billings come in. So we will calculate that 460,000 gallons
That'll be included
in
next
January.
month.
It'll be shown as a accounted for line.
Yeah.
And you guys captured the pipe in that rate, sent it off to analysis.
For which
The pipe break in January.
Break, that
15th,
was in, 16 of Hank, right? You captured that, right? Like,
That's
That's that same line on Woodlands Parkway, it's been breaking all the time. Okay.
Maureen, can you go to page 16 so we can see the chart? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you had the packet up there. Okay, well, anyway, if we turn to page 16, you can see the chart. I mean, this looks like we're out of control. We had the June, things look good. September, really bad. October's okay. And then now creeping back up in December is, higher than anything we'd seen up until June last year. Do we have I know you're asking for additional reports. Next month, could we get a more detailed report out on what's being done and where we stand on this and what the financial impact is if we end the year at 6 rather than 4? I don't think it's a big impact, but it's meaningful, I think.
Whatever data we can provide, we will.
Okay. And I mean, do you both agree that it's on the Woodlands water side, not in the handoff?
It
And not,
appears to be, but we still haven't proven anything at this point.
you guys are done looking.
You are.
You look at the last 6 months and there's a cycle developing. You have two below normal months and then you have an abnormal month. Two below and then one above. So I don't know if there's something quarterly going on that's affecting that.
We know that to be the timing of when we cut off and when they cut off, so that's what's causing that. And that is causing what some of the peak is on the month on the side of it. So we know that, but it doesn't account for all of it. But we do know that there's a timing issue there. So some of the balancing, if you kind of draw the line across the other months, the low month, for instance, would just balances or cuts into the big high marks, but not completely.
I mean, a quarterly average to level out.
Correct. Correct. But not for that big, the two big months.
If you look at, prior to June 25, we didn't see the variation we're seeing now, though. I mean, and the timing hasn't changed, right?
A little bit with how the new billing software works.
Okay, so this sounds like a new billing software.
That's what we did. I mean, again, we're trying to find it.
Okay.
If I had the answers,
No, I know. I just,
We'll be referring to the GRP part of the report.
We can answer any questions in the GRP part, sure.
Okay, I just want to clarify something. It's my understanding that of the surface water available at Lake Conroe, SJRA is entitled to 333,300 acre feet per year. There's a maximum of 100,000 acre feet can be taken, 2/3 of which is City of Houston, 1/3 of which is SJRA.
Correct.
Okay. So when I look at the FY 26 allocation, it's in gallons per acre feet. That's a little over 22,000 acre feet. Which leaves us almost 11,000 acre feet.
What page are you?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at page 25.
Okay.
That leaves almost 11,000 acre feet per year remaining. So
That we can't push through the GRP system? Is that what you're asking?
no, I think the system is sized for approximately 33,000 acre feet, if you do the calculations.
Yeah, doing the calculation backwards. Right now, we're taking 20 million gallons a day out of Lake Conroe, which is 1/3 of City of Houston's 2/3. We have the other 1/3 of Lake Houston reserve.
Of what's our
City of Houston's reservation, we're reserving 1/3 of their 2/3, and we're using the other 1/3 of their 2/3.
Okay.
That makes sense. So 1/3, 20 MGD is what we're using for GRP. The other 1/3 we're reserving. The other 1/3, that's the city of Conroe's, SJRA's. You following me? Okay, there's a lot of 1/3s. City of Houston has 2/3. GRP reserves that. The other 1/3 that Lake Conroe has, we're not using that at this time.
Okay, that's what I was
Right.
trying to figure out. But some chunk of it isn't being used, and I wasn't sure what was going on there.
Yeah.
So what really happened was we had signed a contract 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And they just, the city of Houston has decided to make us execute that contract. So we stopped using all 1/3 in the lake and began using 1/3 of theirs.
Right, per the
Right.
contract that was signed
We
back
paid
in
$1 more
2010.
per
Right.
1,000. Yeah, right.
So that was taken care of this year. Of course, no rate increase, rate decrease. Never did.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure this topic will come up again at some point.
so can you clarify? I got lost in one, I got an extra third in there.
Thirds, come on.
Yeah. It's like the 5/3 bank, but anyway, it's a different story. Houston has a certain amount of water allocated to them. It almost sounded like you said the current GRP is reserving or is using all that, but we're not, are we?
No, so GRP is reserving
Reserving.
1/3. Okay, the city of Houston's. Well, that's where I get myself confused. City of Houston has 2/3 of the lake.
Yeah, okay.
1/3 of that we are reserving. The other 1/3 of city of Houston's we're using.
Yeah.
So you're saying we have all of Houston's water?
We have all of Houston's water we're paying a usage fee on 1/3 of it. And then on a third of it, we're paying a reservation fee.
So they have nothing left to take.
They have nothing left to take. Now, we do have with City of Houston, we tell them we're going to use 1/3 of it. The other third, we're going to reserve, but we're not going to use for this year. They do have the right to use it somewhere else just for that year.
How much is the reservation versus the usage fee?
Reservations 25% and
25% of what?
I think it's $1, around $1 for their
For the
roll.
reservation fee?
So it'd be 25 cents per thousand for reservation and it'd be $1 for actual use.
Okay, 25 cents a dollar.
And Lake Livingston, it's at the lake out on the east coast. We used to reserve water there, and that contract changed, right?
We had a option contract with Trinity River Authority for 50,000 acre feet. That option expired in 2022 or 2023. And when we went to renew the option, they said it wasn't available. What they have come back and said is, if you want water today, whether you need it or not, it's full rate. It's a take or pay,
$1 for.
whatever their rate is. I couldn't tell you what their rate is. So right now, we do not have a contract with TRA for anything.
Any further questions for Malia?
Yeah, we're still on on page 21. On the water line condition basis estimate. The final report was done, it says coordinate with the MUDs on the path forward for funding water line replacements. That's coming in the 10-year plan. So that'll be in May. Nothing before then. Okay. Okay.
And
And
if you remember, that's the tier 1 and
tier
tier
2,
1 and tier 2 only. Because that's what gets accomplished in the 10 years.
Correct.
right.
Anything beyond that.
Trying to reconcile that with the $32 million number I heard earlier.
That was
Tier 1.
That was tier 1, construction for town center and engineering for Woodlands Parkway.
And the sum of those two is 32 million.
Yes.
Okay, and on page 23, the study we've been waiting for with the byproducts. So this says it was meeting held on February 3rd, reviewing initial results. Are you go bring that back next month to us?
We asked for the consultant to go back and look at their information again, because both Eric and Chris were very disappointed with what they reported. And so it doesn't equate, the information they presented doesn't tell us, okay, if you go to 60% delivery.
They didn't answer the question we wanted to answer.
Correct.
So do we have a timeline on when that will be?
We've asked them to maintain the same deadline. We'll see if they do, but so far they said they could.
Good. So what's on the page says estimated completion February 26th.
End of February. We can be a little bit more specific, but it's the end of the month.
So you're still thinking they'll meet that?
They said they would.
Haven't told us different.
Okay. Okay. Great, thanks. Oh, I got, page 29 and 30. These look like new pages, financial statements. I didn't remember seeing, anyway, I like them.
The GRP ones.
Yeah, the GRP ones.
And you're gonna see the bonds down at the bottom.
Yep, that all
They
look,
are new, and that's how they'll look going forward.
okay. Can you get us the same page for Woodlands Division?
You can ask that accountant. They're two separate accountants,
Yeah,
so they like
no.
their styles, their own
There's
way.
two different
So you want-
pages, two
yes,
different sections.
Yeah,
but-
yes. Absolutely.
Can you add the interest rate of those bond series? That was the column.
We can. Just one thing to keep in mind, on the Woodlands one, if we add the bonds, to save confusion, we're just gonna add bonds that affect the entire Woodlands division. So if there's some capacity bonds that, a couple months have, we're not gonna add those because that's gonna cause a lot of confusion here. So,
What I'm just thinking forward on is, we ended up the year now with the 6 million excess. And this allows you to see that excess kind of coming at you or not coming at you. And I looked back through the Woodlands Division pages and I didn't see any financial numbers in there.
they're never at the trustees meeting, they're always at the MUD meeting. Just because our financial actually cutoff is earlier this week, and so the day after trustees, I actually get financials. 'Cause that's-
I'll go back. I'll look at the MUD meeting when it comes in. So thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Leah, thank you so much for your report. Okay, that brings us to agenda item 10, consider an act on the SJRA Woodlands Division fiscal year 25 excess funds. Is that Chris, Eric? Who's gonna, your name is on the report.
We're gonna give you $6 million back if you want it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, last year was money given back. We did, of course, take that into consideration when we made this year's budget. And seeing this, we're gonna take that into consideration when we're building next year's budget as well, because I know it is nice to have a refund at the end of the day, if you will, but our goal is not to have any extra money at the end of the day. So we're identifying where it came from, how it came from there and everything else. And then if we need to reduce things in the budget to not have that, then we'll reduce those. Some of these are due to electrical, where we budgeted high. And of course, y'all know electrical does this throughout the year. We are budgeting in some cases 18 months ahead. Some is due to salaries, and of course, some is due to demands. Woodlands does not have a lot of growth overall, but like Malia said earlier, when you have December was a high production month for water. January was a high production month for water. You're doing your winter averaging at the same time, which means you're going to have higher bills in theory over the next few months. So sewer is going to go a little bit higher, which does then equate to more revenue. So try to spin it as quick as I can, but still going to be there. But no, the recommendation is we did toss around in various things and thoughts and whatnot with the extra funds. But at the end of the day, y'all have a lot of projects going on. Y'all have a lot of needs with the MUD. So we felt it best to suggest the money's returned to you. That's all I have unless you have any questions.
Is this final now or?
That is final. So I did pass out one to Woodlands Water, didn't catch it there, caught it after the audit committee at Metro. I'd used calendar year instead of fiscal year. And so I went back and I adjusted it to fiscal year on the water usage. So that is the true final number. Matches up with everything else. Slight variations, but nothing major.
You had the period of coverage. I thought you were supposed to check it 5 months after the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you were talking about my mess up. I could have left that to myself. No, so that's a good point. This is 100% draft document at this point in time. The thing that we know the numbers are good, being the $6 million, that is good. We know the water usage is good. But part of the resolution states that we have to have 90% revenue after 6 months of the fiscal year. That date is February 28th, right around March 1st. Come March 1st, we're going to rerun this calculation. If we're less than 90%, resolution states we keep the entirety of it, not just to get us 90% up to 100. However, at this point, I think the question was asked the other day in the audit committee, where are we sitting after 4 months? And we're basically at 104%, I believe. And so with January being a very high month with water production, I doubt we're going to lose 14+% in a month. So 3 weeks. 3 weeks, yeah.
If I remember correctly, there was a recommendation that came out of the audit.
With
finance.
that caveat, it's not final yet. Probably as the audit committee has recommended, take your deal.
So to accept that presented,
Hey, Chris.
that is the,
15% interest. Not 15% interest to that.
I would too. If I was getting it, I'd give it to you.
so the audit and finances recommendation is to accept it as presented with the caveat of
Right.
it's still in
Correct.
a slightly amended. Okay. If there's any question on that, we can
I have one.
discuss.
What's
Yes.
the month, assuming we pass it?
Yeah.
What month will we charge the budget? March? End of March? Beginning of March.
When you're writing checks.
So part of this process is after it's approved here, after the 90 days, we take it to our board for a budget amendment. That will have to occur in March after the 90 days. After that, it should be in April. If there's any slight delay, then it would be in May. But typically we shoot for April, possibly May. That way we don't have to pay it 15%.
Do you have any need for further discussion on this matter? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the attorney's report. Ronnie Yates, good evening. Hard to top that. Thank you, sir. That brings us to the general manager's report. I bet you have something to say, General Manager Peterson.
I have a few things to go over. I don't think we've met the trustees I think everybody knows by now, but the GRP committee did recommend and pass the recommendation that you gave me, which was the 11-cent drop in the GRP rate and $500,000 going to R&R. So that did, I think the meeting was after this meeting, so we just haven't met since then, but I think everybody knows that that went through. I did pass out a document, it looks like this, to everyone. There's no action tonight. It's really just to give you a heads up. I'd like to put an agenda item on the next trustee board meeting to talk about this concept. And basically the concept is to potentially request of the GRP, the Woodlands 50-50 blend to increase to something greater. In light of the disinfection byproduct analysis that I was hoping to get more insight from, I've been informed that safely we can get to 55%. And so you see there that would be a request to the GRP of $750,000 gallons a day. And I have really just curiosity, wanted to show you if we requested 1 million gallons a day additional, what percentage would that be? It'd be 56.6%. So I think that's still attainable if we wanted to do that. Nothing for tonight, but I wanted to just get y'all thinking about that, and we can talk about it next month. Or we don't have to do anything, but my concern is that there's been a number of entities in the county that have continued over the last 3 months or 4 months to request additional capacities from the GRP, and they've been granted. And that plant at this point is getting close to its allotment. And so I'd like to be able to request more if it's the desire of the trustees to do so.
This will take effect this fiscal year or next fiscal year?
I mean, I would propose that after next meeting, if we pass it, that I would make the request of the GRP immediately. And then that would need to go before the GRP committee. And then obviously then to the SGA board for final approval, acceptance of our request, whatever we request. I don't know that I feel comfortable requesting more than either of those before I see the results of the disinfection byproduct, because the results of that would potentially dictate additional infrastructure that we have to build in order to receive more and avoid disinfection byproducts. So I don't feel comfortable going above either of these numbers for now, until we know more.
Have you caught it out with that infrastructure before?
No. That's one of the other questions that we have of the consultant at this point. But my thought is give me a number of infrastructure costs. If we go to 60, 70, 80, whatever that is, tell me what we would need to do in terms of treatment. And is that ramping? If we go higher, is it more treatment? We don't have that information. That's what I want to know, so I can make an informed decision or informed recommendation to y'all. So nothing for tonight, but other than just to kind of give you that. Did want to give you an update. Kent asked a question last month, and I want to give you an update on our building of our dish crews. I had reported we had hired one. Interviews and resumes had become slow, so we ramped up significantly our social media posts on the job hiring. And then as of yesterday, we had attended the Conroe Chamber Job Fair, And as of today, we have 2 offers out for a lead and another crew member. So we had some really good success, great candidates that came into that. Really pleased with the outcome there. Haven't accepted yet, but we think they're good candidates. So it's moving along. And once if we do have those 2, we probably can get rolling on the stuff that we said we were going to do ourselves. Wanted to mention that we had a meeting with the township staff last week to just go over our coordination for what we require on new development submittals on plans and things like that. They do it also, and we've rebuilt our program, our internal protocols here and our process here, and we wanted to collaborate with them to make sure that we were both on the same page for what we're asking potential developers when they come in. And finally, I just wanted to remind everybody that filing for mud election candidates deadline is this Friday. And so we've had a number of candidates come in. I also wanted to address, there were a couple directors that asked questions about what we do to conduct the election or what we do with the paperwork that comes in from the candidates. I just wanted to reiterate that we received the applications from the candidates. We send them to the attorney. The process is fair and balanced for incumbents and non-incumbents. I just wanted to confirm and clarify that for everyone if anyone had any question about that. I just wanted to address that publicly. That's all I have.
Very good. Questions for General Manager Peterson? Hearing none, thank you. That brings us to agenda item 13. Receive staff and ad hoc committee updates and personnel committee. Did not have a meeting. However, we will recess to closed session to discuss a personnel matter here at the next agenda item. Audit and finance has been discussed. Anything more to add, Ron?
No.
Public Education Committee, Trustee Gaynor.
Yes, we met today, just before this meeting. The committee reviewed and approved a new community survey document subject to completion of minor edits. This survey is similar to previous committee surveys, which gathered information on the public's knowledge of water and wastewater services and to identify priorities and their concerns. Holloway, the consultant, provided us with an update on educational materials and means of communication. And they are test driving a new speaker request form. When I say they, I mean the community working group is testing that, which will be a good thing, because that'll then get set up one-on-one or communications on what's going on. We also discussed the strategy for updating communications when there are changes in project scope. For example, the gravity conveyance optimization project in Grover's Mill has quite a different look and feel to it now than what it originally had. We also discussed extending communications to include local drainage and, of course, the Bear Branch flood control projects. Again, somewhat outside the scope of water and wastewater, but I think it is of interest to residents in the Woodlands, and that's part of it.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
I have questions.
Yes, sir.
So the speaker form, who are the expected speakers? Are they like Eric and your staff? Or are they?
Likely. Yeah, no, it would be, that's an opportunity for the public to ask for someone to come and talk to them about what, the infrastructure. So typically would be me. Yeah.
But the great thing about this is you can get like a neighborhood or a community group getting information directly and not via a third party. So that is the key. So this let's see if it works, how well it works. It's just being test driven, so to speak. And I'm hopeful it will be a new avenue for communicating.
Would trustees and directors be notified of what those opportunities are, and so we could attend if we wanted to?
I'm sorry, what?
Would trustees and directors be notified of the opportunities, and could we attend? Or would they be?
Well, let's try to get the speaker form working so we iron out any issues first, and then we'll start having a conversation about what you're concerned about.
I'm not concerned. I just think it's a great opportunity to get information out to the public.
Yeah,
And-
happy
and,
to, once
you know-
we get one in, be happy to share with you, what it is, who it came from, and, I don't think we have anything yet. It's just, we're just starting it out. We just want to continue to find ways to reach the public and share the information that we have.
I'd like to make one comment. I'm not into Facebook and all that, but I'm on the Nextdoor app. And between the River Authority and Woodlands Water, there is 2 or 3 or 4 things a day now that I get. And like the River Authority put out something, turn the water off while you brush your teeth. But it seemed to me like that, you all can coordinate your public information things because you got people obviously doing the same thing, and maybe you could coordinate, hey, we're going to put this out this week on this day, and just as a suggestion, just from the public and looking at everything on it.
Have you found any conflicts in the messaging?
Well, that's just like conservation. A lot of it is, that's the same message,
Okay.
Is it a text or an email?
No, it's a full next door picture and,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that was one, like today, I think. or
Next
this
door to the
week, or
website,
On the next door website.
social media.
Oh, next to
Media. But anyway, it was, typical stuff that you hear over and
I'll pass
over.
that on.
But anyway, just a suggestion is it might, the general public probably doesn't, they might be like me and man, they're spending a lot of money. 2 or 3 or 4 of these a day, whereas maybe you could coordinate that. And I even think the township has a person that's dedicated a full-time job about water conservation. Anyway, just a comment. About public, no, I'm fully from 20 years ago when I first got involved here. It's a welcome change. At least people know who to call when their water line breaks. 20 years ago, it wasn't the way it was.
Thank you. That brings us to agenda item 14, and we're going to recess at 6:52 to close session.